Welcome Virgo, thank you for joining me. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. Don't forget to like and share. And if you're new to the channel, welcome, and I hope you enjoy the reading. This is a general reading, so it applies to anybody really falling into this category. So if you are influenced by another sign, then what I suggest you do is to cross-watch to my other videos. But it is a general reading, so take what works for you, and it may apply to you or it may apply to somebody else that you're close to at this time. And I have shuffled and laid out the cards already. I work with the 12 houses of the zodiac, so as the cards are falling in each house, then those are the influences that are coming to bear at this time. So in the first house we have earth element stability. Your first house is everything to do with yourself. It's your physical self, your vitality, your self-oriented interests, and it's also what you project to other people, what they see, and so therefore it's your observable characteristics and your personality as well. It's also how you are making your way in the world as well, so your personal independence. So with earth element stability coming in, what this is asking you to do is to just stay centered, be practical and methodical and grounded at this time. It's about responsibility, it's about being organized, no rushing or criticism of yourself or others at this time. You may need to try new things, let go of old fears and old attitudes or stubborn beliefs that you have at this time. Try new things, yeah, just basically look after your body and your health, and just kind of, let go of perhaps what was holding you back at some point or has held you back at some point. This card is also about making what you have work for you. So things you don't need, get rid of, streamline, and make yourself as stable and comfortable as possible. It could also be, well, it's a gaining of wisdom as well, but you could also be going into business at this time, or be wanting to do that. It's a good time to do that because you could be meeting very powerful people, very influential people that are going to assist you at this time to launch whatever it is that you need to do. So yeah, it's a good card to be having. You're either projecting this very grounded and practical, methodical way of doing things, or you need to bring that in to what's going on in your daily life at this time. Then in the second house we have Scorpio, I transform. So your second house is your house of income, the money that's coming into you at this time. And it's also your house of possessions, everything that you own, all your possessions. It's also the house of self-worth, and it's the house of your value systems. So everything that you value in yourself and in others and in your surroundings. Now with Scorpio transform coming in, it's exactly what it says. It brings in that transformative quality, so something new from something old, or from the past. So something new is coming out of something that was either has sort of, you thought wasn't working anymore, or just has passed away. Something may come out of that again. It's also a regenerative card, so something, as I said, something that you thought perhaps was dead, gone, over, now comes to life again. But whatever it is, it's a testing time, and yeah, you could be, you need to attend to matters concerning inheritances or heirlooms from the past, whether it's families or something that some people from the past that you've been involved in. So attend to matters concerning your inheritances and any heirlooms from that, and just protect your interests as well. There seems to be, to me, to be some kind of money issue looming, because this second house is connected to your 8th house, which is also your money house. That's your big finance house. And the two are undergoing transformative changes at this time. So just go over your financial plans and where you're putting your money. Go over it very carefully. If you've got investments, check where they are being invested on your behalf, things like that. Because something could come to light at this time. Something that wasn't known or was hidden under the surface may suddenly come to the surface now to be dealt with. So just protect your interests. You may be feeling quite restricted at this time in your money house or in any one of those other areas. This card also brings in some sort of form of self-analysis. And that could be to do with your own personal self-worth and your possessions and what you value, or it could be in conjunction with your finances. So just be careful, have a look at that. If you're suspicious of anything, follow it up. Banks are indicated with this as well. With this card, you may just find intrigues and suspicion come in as well. That could also be a factor for you. So I feel that this could be something to do with something from the past that comes back now. But just protect your interests. Have a good look at your money portfolio and see where you're putting your money, and just double check that everything is as it should be. Then in the third house we have Black Moon Lilith Mystery. Third house is your house of your all forms of communication. So whether this is personal communication to others or the public. It can also be to certain family members, so that's cousins, siblings, aunts, uncles, even neighbors can come in. And it's all forms of communication, so that's written, verbal, body language even, and this house also rules all forms of documents and contracts as well. So yet again, I see something, this is also possibly connected to your money house, but there's something is off. There are undercurrents going on in this house. Something isn't known, or you don't have all the facts at this time. You could be waiting for something to happen to take action on it. So it's also, apart from that, from the practical aspect of it, it's also about keeping your darker or negative emotions, your shadow side, in check. You need to find a healthy outlet for any sort of feelings of anger or fear or guilt or envy or bitterness. There could be a bit of bitchiness going on as well, any kind of vengeful thoughts. This could be within yourself, or it could be that you're seeing it in others as well. So this card is also about balancing karma. So you could be dealing with certain issues that are coming up for you now. And also obsessions can come up with this card. So you could be sort of looking very deeply into something and really obsessing about it a bit. So just as I said, keep those sort of darker emotions in check at this time. Or it could be, as I say, you are seeing it in others around you right now. But this is basically saying to you that there's something mysterious going on, and you may just have to be clear about your communications, your documents, your contracts. Just be careful. Just check everything thoroughly and communicate properly with the people around you in a measured and balanced way. Then in the fourth house, we have Jupiter return benefits. So your fourth house is your house of home. This is everything to do with your home, whether it's the physical bricks and mortar or the place where you're currently residing, but it's also the atmosphere in your home and the people in your home. So with this card coming, it's a lovely card to come in. It's bringing in benefits for you. It's a Jupiter return, so therefore it is a cycle that is coming to bear now. Jupiter sort of does a rotation around your chart once every 12 years. So something from the past, whether it's a decade ago or slightly longer, is coming back to bear fruit now. So this could be an idea or something that you wanted to do, or you thought it was over, or something was shelved. It could have been a business plan or an idea or some kind of action that you wanted to take which didn't actually take off or it didn't happen. It could very well come back to you now and bear fruit. But apart from that, it's a very good card. It's an earned luck card. So this is luck, but from what you've earned in all your activities. It's, so you're sort of, when you say earned luck, it's karmic. There's rewards in here. There's positivity. This card is about seizing the moment. You may need to do that at this time. So whether this is to make a change in your home, you could also be receiving a windfall of some kind coming back to you, or it might even be an inheritance of some kind. But if none of that applies, it could also just be about having faith and belief and strength as well at this time. It's also about dreams manifesting into reality as well. You might have a gift come to you. It could also be a quick opportunity that comes up. Jupiter return is quick, so any opportunity that comes to you at this time and manifesting in the fourth house, you need to grab it quick and explore it as far as, see how far it will take you. because it will come and go quite quickly. This card is also about not to overdo things, overspending or overcapitalizing on things. It's also a card of gratitude and grace. So that could just be very well what you need at this time in your fourth house. The fourth house also deals with your relationship with your ancestry, your foundation, your roots, your ethnic identity. So any of these sort of key words or key concepts could be applied to that as well. Then in the fifth house we have Leo, I will. So the fifth house is the house of your creativity. It's also the house of children, it's the house of love affairs, and it's the house of all recreational activities, all fun activities, which could be a club even that you've joined, any kind of recreational activity. It also rules speculative pursuits like gambling or playing on the stock market. So with this card coming in, it's a very nice, warm, loving card to come in. It's about creativity, it's about originality, it's about being in the spotlight, it's about being noticed. You could very well be at the center of something, and whatever you're displaying, it could be a talent is now being recognized. So this could be a creative talent that you're exhibiting at this time. It's also about reputation and career. So something could be linked to that, but you're in the spotlight and your popularity is high. Or it could also be to do with your children. If you've got your own children or you're associated with other children, it could be them that are experiencing this, some kind of notoriety in some way, or their talents are being recognized, and you're seeing this because you're connected to these children. But it really is an original card coming in for you. It's about displaying your originality in whatever way that is for you. It's also about bringing romance in, so whether that's through a love affair or just into your life in general, romantic activities, playful activities. But if it is a love affair coming in for you, then it will be a playful, open relationship, very warm and loving relationship. This card may also be about winning as well, so winning at something. It's also about spending money, so just beware of that, particularly as your money houses are under a little bit of stress at this time. So just be careful with that you don't overspend on something. It's also a social card. It's about going out, enjoying yourself, and getting out there, going out, just going out in general, whether it's restaurants or sort of activities, fun activities at this time. Then in the sixth house, we have Venus Love. Your sixth house is your house of work, your workplace, your work colleagues. It's also your mastery of your particular craft, whatever that may be. It's your daily routines around that. It's also the house of health and diet and the house of pets. So with this card coming in, it's basically saying love what you do, and that really is key for the work that you're doing. Love what you do and love yourself, love your body, look after yourself, bring in your home comforts, not overindulgence, but make yourself comfortable, look after yourself, show yourself some self-care. It's very highly indicated with this card at this time. It's also from an outward point of view, it's about being charming and being refined in all your interests and whatever it is you're doing in your work life. It's about being helpful and amenable. So if you're in a workplace with others, you might find that this is a social time for you. You're getting out and about and maybe work related. It could also be that you have some kind of legal or a dispute that's kind of been going on in this house. And when this card comes in, you can expect to be able to settle that, to make peace, negotiate your way to some kind of resolution. This card is also about money, so money may be coming to you through the sixth house, or you may be receiving a windfall and therefore you're now channeling it into the sixth house in some way. This card is also about partnership, so you may be going into partnership with another. It could be work related, or it could be in some other way, maybe even a new pet coming in for you. But it's about partnership. Partnership is highly indicated with Venus card. So when it comes to work and work projects and so on, you could be moving into different aspects or new aspects or other aspects of Venus, which is always about fashion, the arts, beauty, cosmetics, perfumes and oils, jewelry, handcrafts. So any of those are indicated with this card. So if you're thinking of changing, or you want to start up a hobby, or do an alternative career, any one of those is going to be indicated. The arts are highly indicated with Venus, and that can be any form of artistic work. It could even be comedy, or it could be actual art, or it could be a drawing, or musical, or acting. Any form of the arts is indicated with this. You could, as I said, also be getting, if you get a windfall, then see how you can best use it in this house to make yourself feel really good, and without overspending, because you don't need to be doing that at this time. This is a luxury card. You may be attracted to luxuries, or you may be attracting luxuries into your life, but just be aware of the overspending side of things. Then with the health and diet, Venus tends to overdo it on sugary foods, sweet things, so just watch that. So it's indulgence in all its forms. Indulgence, moderately done, is very good for you, and it's a form of self-care. Just don't go over, in the deep end. Just watch that you maintain your limits there. Then in the 7th house we have Cancer, I feel. So the 7th house is your house of relationships, your personal one-on-one relationships. So this is a love relationship, or it could be a business partnership, or another relationship that you're very close to at this time, one-on-one. So with the Cancer I Feel card coming in, it's exactly what it says. It's about using your trust your feelings, your instincts, follow your intuition and your guidance. And when you're in a relationship with another, just watch your moods as well, because this is a cyclical card. It's ruled by the moon, and the moods and your habits are always indicated at this time. So small habits that you've fallen into may not be conducive now in a partnership, or you may need to change your habits in some way, and your moods therefore as well. You could just be feeling sensitive, or a little bit insecure, or maybe just emotional, or you could just be feeling incredible empathy at this time for your partner, whichever partner, whether it's a love or a business partner. You might find that domestic issues or women's issues are coming up in your 7th house. There's a female influence coming in, or you could just be dealing with somebody who, your partner has sort of insecurities, or just feels a bit down at this time, and you're being empathetic with them. Or they could be having some sort of health issue like digestive or food and diet issues. So it's nourishment really that is in the spotlight with this card. With this card also comes up the need for resilience. You need to build it into your relationship, or you need to be more resilient within your relationship. Perhaps not go with too many ups and downs on the emotional front. Perhaps you need to balance that more, and perhaps not take things as seriously as you need, as you think. From a mental point of view, this is more of a feeling point of view. Just balance your emotions and try and keep yourself on an even keel. It could also be that there are trust issues coming up, possibly. But also memories in the past may come up. So you may be reflecting on something from the past, or something, a memory connected with this relationship, or your relationships in general. Then in the 8th house we have lunar eclipse change. So as I said, the 8th house is a money house. It's your big finance house. It's connected to your 2nd house, which is your income. And there's lunar eclipse change coming in there. This house rules, as I said, big finance, so that's investments, and insurances, taxes, banking, accounting. It also deals with inheritances and legacies and trusts of all kinds. So that came up earlier as well. So again, just double check where your money is, what's happening there, who's looking after it. Just go over your portfolio again. Look at it carefully, because something may be a bit off there. Something may not be known or not be seen, or it's now going to go through a change. The 8th house also deals with beginnings and endings of all kinds. And it's also the deeper emotional commitment between partners, love partners. That can be sexual as well. But it's also the commitment between a partnership in a business aspect. So it's the merging of your mental, your emotional and your physical resources. So the merging of the two into one. and all that goes with it, and that has monetary implications as well. It's also the house of handling other people's money, so that may be a profession for you, you know. So with lunar eclipse change coming in, something suddenly needs to be dealt with. So this could be something that you've put off, or you just hadn't noticed up until now, but now it comes up for you front and center, and it can be really abrupt and unexpected. Not necessarily that this thing is coming up for you to deal with, but the speed and the abruptness of it will knock you off your place for a moment. So it could also be something bubbling over, something that was simmering under the surface, and now it bubbles over and you have to deal with it. So it's unexpected changes coming in here. There's upheaval of some kind, but it's a new and a necessary change which is coming in for you to move you forward in some way. Cycles are also indicated with this card because it's another moon card, and the cycles usually take place 6 weeks to 6 months. So this change that comes about could all wrap up within 6 weeks, or it could unfold over a period of 6 months. So watch your investments, your stock market. There could be a curveball coming for you at some point, or some sort of sudden development. Or it could also just, as I said, be to do with a relationship that you have, the merging of your two resources into one. Something comes up to be dealt with at this time. Then in the 9th house, we have Virgo, I analyze. So this is your home card in the 9th house. The 9th house is quite a broad house. It covers all things international. So this is you meeting the world, or the world meeting you in some way. And that is usually through international travel, or dealing with people like foreign import and export business, or just dealing with people online from other cultures, other countries, other places. Or it could be physically dealing with people like that. But it's an adventure card, it's an exploration card, and that can be applied to many things. So it also is about study. So this is higher education, this is university education or adult education. It's also the house of belief systems, all kinds of belief systems. It's the house of religion, it's the house of philosophy, and it's the house of teaching, publishing, public promotions, promotional work of all kinds. It's also the house of the courts, the higher courts and the law. And it's also the house of relationship to your in-laws, if you have any. So it's as I said, it's an exploratory adventure type card, but it's rolled up with all things international and foreign, and also higher learning. So with Virgo, I analyze coming in there, you may be studying at this time, or you may be wanting to embark on a study, or there's something else that you want to do at this time. You could also be looking at, you could be researching and looking at health issues. So this is natural remedies, diet, nutrition, anything to do with that. It could be a form of study for you, or you could be working in that field, or you could be publishing in that, something in that field, or you're working with promotional work in that. But study is highly indicated with this, and also promotion, teaching, publishing, analysis of all kinds. So this can be writing and numbers, books and research. All of that falls under this. You could also be streamlining things. So this is streamlining your interests in this house, or you could be editing, or you could be removing the unnecessary things. So it's a bit of a declutter going on. Getting organized. It's about evaluation. Evaluating where you are in this house, what needs to be done. If you're wanting to go on a trip overseas, it could be the planning of that, and the working out your figures and planning the whole thing, the airfares, putting it all together. But it's a form of organization that you will be going through. Your routines need to be looked at as well. Perhaps you have routines in this house that need streamlining, or you need to put routines in. This could be for studying, as I said. There's an element of correction with this card as well. So if something has gone off the rails, or you've got distracted, then you need to put your routines back in place and correct yourself onto the right path. This card is also associated with service of all kinds. So this is service to others. You could even be opening a business, or doing something which is related to the 9th house. Just be careful with this house that you don't overanalyze or worry or nitpick about things too much. Yes, you do need to analyze and you do need to look at things and streamline, but there can also be over-analysis or sort of analysis paralysis almost going on as well with this card. Then in the 10th house, we have Saturn return age. The 10th house is the house of career. It's the house of fame, reputation, your public status. It's also the house of authority figures. This can be somebody personal to you, like a mother or father or some other family member or friend or just somebody you know, or it could be an authority in business or somebody that you just look up to. So now with this card coming in Saturn return age, it implies a return. Saturn normally returns every 29 years or so. So if you're under the age of 29, just apply it to something that is now coming back to you, or it's you applying wisdom and understanding to something that you perhaps didn't understand clearly sometime before. But otherwise, if you're sort of past the age of 29 or older, then this is about what you're gaining, what you have gained from a wisdom and understanding point of view from the past. So it's applying your maturity. That's what it's about. So it's insight gained from the past, experience, applying that to what's going on at the moment. It's also a truth and a realistic card. So facing the truths, taking a realistic look at things. There must be no illusions of any kind or any shaky foundations, because that will crumble. You need to have strong foundations in whatever it is in this 10th house. If you're older, you may feel like time is running out, like you haven't quite achieved everything you wanted to achieve. But you also need to take responsibility for your goals and your dreams and implement them, and that's what Saturn is about. You may feel a bit discouraged at this time that your goals that you've set for yourself, you may not be quite there yet. There may be obstacles and restrictions going on, but with Saturn you've got to work with those energies and you've got to keep going, because just that plodding and working through all those obstacles, you are learning really, really valuable life lessons. And this will give you incredible insight later on in life. It's a slow progress card, no shortcuts here. You're building success, and that takes time and it takes solid foundation. It's about building fortitude as well. So you may also be involved with a taskmaster of some kind. This is somebody older who's really putting you through your paces. But again, it's a learning curve. Whatever you learn at this time will stand you in very good stead later on. Then in the 11th house, we have Sagittarius IC. So this card is an adventurous and exploratory card. It's a freedom-loving card. And in your 11th house, this is the house of friendships. It's the house of your personal hopes, your dreams, your hobbies and your interests. And it's also the house of group activities of all kinds. So whether this is a society or an association that you're a member of, or some kind of club, it could be a sports club even, but it's some sort of group association that you're involved in. It could be an online group as well, and or a group of companies. So it's something that you're involved in where there are others, okay? So, but as I said, it could also be about your friendships as well. So with this card, it's about making your mark. You will make your mark in some way. Because of the arrow that's being pulled back, and it will hit its mark. You're pulling back at this time. You're drawing the bow right now. So you need to give yourself some freedom, perhaps change up your routines and explore and travel a little bit, get outdoors. If you've been inside too long, expand your focus. Basically, that's what this card is asking you to do. But you may just be feeling really restless at this time. Perhaps you're in a group, you're not happy there, and you need to change it up. Or you need to speak out, because Sagittarians do that. They speak up. It may be their truth. It may be hard for others to hear, but it's their truth. So you may need to do that. But it's about expansion in all kinds. You could receive a lucky break of some kind with this card. It's also about being confident and social. You may be wanting to study further at this time. It's also the honesty card, as I said, speaking your truth. And you could be developing an interest in religion or philosophy or some other kind of belief system at this time. Then in the 12th house, we have Grand Cross Provoker. The 12th house is the house of the unconscious. So this is all your unconscious beliefs and motivations, everything under the surface. It's also the house of retreat and withdrawal. So it's the time for reflection, the house of reflection. It's also the house of spiritual life, your spiritual life, if you have one. It's about meditation, mysticism, and also healing comes into this house. It's also the house of service to others, and it deals with escapism and drugs and addictions of all kinds may come up for you, or you may be associated with somebody who's going through issues to do with that. It's also the house of karmic lessons. And it's the house of your experiences in institutions of all kinds. So that can be a university, a library, a banking institution, a government institution, hospitals, prisons, any of those places. So with this card coming in, what I feel is it's about you taking a realistic look at certain things. Perhaps what you thought or what you believed before is now being changed up. It's about movement, and it's a catalyst for change, this card. So pressure to grow. So you may be feeling a little bit frustrated with what's going on in the 12th house at this time. You may be juggling without much progress, and that's because you're juggling too many things. So you need to take a realistic look at everything that's going on in your 12th house. You need to prioritize. You need to focus on your top priorities. You need to get organized, and then just go with those, work on those. And also this card is about communication. How are you communicating with others about what you want and what you need and what you're going through at this time? It's also about drawing upon your own strength. So again, fortitude is coming in. Issues of self-worth may be coming up as well. But you may have trouble implementing change. Perhaps you want to make changes at this time, and you're finding it difficult. Seek support if that is the case. And also, as I said, if you're trying to implement change, perhaps you're trying to implement too many things at once. And this is where this juggling issue is coming in, because there's 4 very hard angles coming at you. So therefore, prioritize, pick and choose which is the most important for you, and do that one step at a time. Focus on that, get organized. You may also need to be a bit more flexible about what is going on in the 12th house, because a rigid frame of mind or a rigid way of approaching things is not going to serve you at this time. So take a realistic look at everything and decide what is the most important, and then implement that. Okay, Virgo, hope you have a wonderful month. Please don't forget to like and share, or like and subscribe, as that will circulate the reading to other people who may need it at this time. And have a wonderful month, and I will see you next time. Take care.